Running a business without a website nowadays is like trying to climb the Kilimanjaro with a pair of flip-flops. But running a website without looking at statistics is as useful as being in a submarine without a sonar. You have no idea where you are going and you are likely to sink. Ignore the numbers at your peril. Luckily, there is Google Analytics to help you steer your business in the right direction. If you haven't heard about Google Analytics, it's time to wake up. If you have and it scares you, don't be. Google Analytics is your true business ally. And it's free. A couple of weeks ago, I showed you how to install Google Analytics. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use Google Analytics so you can make informed decisions and grow your business online visibility in the process. I'm Luc Durand, the founder of rankingacademy.co.uk, where I help small business owners like you with their marketing efforts for better online visibility, step by step and click by click. If you are new to my channel, why don't you subscribe today and click the bell button so you don't miss any of my future videos. And if you like this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up, as it will be very helpful for me to grow my channel. Google Analytics is a very powerful tool which every business owner should be using daily. The downside is it can come across as being very complex and a very overwhelming experience for anyone using it for the first time. But fear not. After watching this video, you will know how to navigate through the interface, what key metrics you should be watching closely, how to set up goals and campaign tracking, and how to use the data to drive more traffic to your site. Watch the video till the end, as I have a special bonus for you, a downloadable, fully customized analytics dashboard specifically designed for small business owners, which you can import directly into your Google Analytics account in just one click. I created this dashboard especially for those of you who are short on time and want to access all the key information in one place. Are you ready? Let's start. Head over to marketingplatform.google.com. From the top navigation, hover on the For Small Business option and choose Analytics. Then log into your account using the Sign into Analytics option. Once you've signed in, you will see an overview of the performance of your website. Most of you will only have access to the data of one website, yours. But if you have more than one Google Analytics account associated with the Gmail address you have logged in with, you will be able to toggle through each website set of data by using the drop-down option on the top left corner of the screen. I have, for instance, access to several analytics profiles for my clients' websites, so I can quickly check how well they are doing by switching from one profile to another on the fly. I will be using my own website, rankingacademy.co.uk, to walk you through the interface, starting with the menu. Let's first zoom in on the report section, which is where you are likely to spend most of your time. The report section is composed of 5 main categories, starting with real-time. As its name indicates, the real-time report shows you what's happening on your site right now, such as the number of visitors, where they are located, where they found you on the web, what content they are currently visiting, etc. Moving on to the audience report. This is where you will find out about your visitors' demographic, their gender, what kind of device they use to access your site, and much more. These reports will help you understand your visitors in more depth. For instance, almost 80% of people visiting my website are male, aged between 25 and 34, and access my site mostly from a desktop. This is extremely valuable information and helps me decide what type of content will work best with my audience. Let's now talk about the acquisition report. The acquisition report is probably my favorite report, as this is where you will find out the source of your web traffic. For instance, in my case, I get most of my traffic from social media, then from direct. Direct means people typing the address of my website directly into a browser. Then it's followed by organic sources, which means search engines. These results are based on a week's worth of data. You can modify the time range by going to the top right hand side corner of your screen and selecting a longer period, which should give you a better data sample and slightly different results. Clicking on the source/medium option will give you an exact breakdown of where your traffic is coming from. In my case, a lot of people seem to be visiting my site after finding me on YouTube or directly from Google. Once again, this is very valuable as I know which channel works best for me and what I need to work on. Moving on to the behavior report. This is where you will learn how visitors behave on your site, what pages are most visited, how long people stay on your site, and very importantly, if people stick around while they're visiting a page. This really helps you understand if your content appeals to your audience or not. The last report is for conversions. This report will allow you to track specific actions that your visitors are taking on your website, such as filling in a form, making a phone call, etc. This is very useful as ultimately you want people to not just visit your site, but also to get in touch with you, and this is where you will see the results. For this to work, you need to set up some goals, which I will cover later on in the course. Other elements of the interface are the search option, which helps you find helpful documentation when you are stuck. The home option, which takes you back to the main overview of your site's performance. The customization option, where you can create your own reports and dashboards. The discover option, where you can find out about the latest information on Google Analytics, and the admin option, where you can modify the settings of your analytics account. I'm only whizzing through these because you are less likely to spend time on these than the reports. As you can see, Google Analytics offers a huge amount of data which can be overwhelming. So you don't feel like you are drowning, I'm going to show you which top metrics you should be watching as a small business in the next chapter. Let's start with the very basic, your visitors. I've already covered some of it in the interface chapter, but looking at your visitors data is a must. Understanding how many people have visited your site, how long they have spent on each page before they complete a form or call you or simply decided to leave, how many more visitors you're getting from the previous month or the previous year, etc. will give you invaluable insights on your overall website performance. To access the visitors data, go to the audience report and select overview. Select the date range from the top right corner you wish to apply to get a big enough sample of data. You can customize the graph view by hours, days, week, or month. And you can start looking at your data in more details by using the breakdown under the main graph, which will include number of users, which is the total number of users who have visited your site during your selected period. New users, which is the number of visitors who had never visited your site before from the total of users. In this example, out of 4,772 users, 4,750 of them were new users. You can see the clear split in the pie chart on the right hand side. Number of sessions. Whenever someone visits your website, it will be added as a new session. If the visitor leaves or is inactive for 30 minutes, the session expires. If the visitor comes back after 30 minutes, a new session will be added to the total. This means one visitor can create multiple sessions, which is the number you will see in the number of sessions per users. The next indicator is page views, which is self-explanatory. Your page views are the number of pages viewed on your site during the date range you have selected. Page views is a good indicator of user engagement. The lower the number, the less engaged. The next indicator is the average number of pages visited for each session. More pages per session means that visitors are exploring more of your site. The average session duration is the length of time visitors tend to spend on your site. A low number means visitors don't spend a huge amount of time on your site, which means they are not finding it very interesting. This number tends to correlate tightly with the bounce rate, which is the next indicator on our list. Bounce rate is the percentage of people who visited your site but navigated away from the site after only viewing one page. A high bounce rate is generally a sign that your visitors are not finding what they want, and that's why they leave straight away. The next thing I'm going to show you is what makes Google Analytics so powerful: comparing sets of data over time. Go to the range selection and tick the compare option. Then select the two date ranges you want to compare. Let's say I want to compare my visitors' performance in October this year with October last year. You can select the entire month by clicking on the top of the calendar box, and you can choose the previous year from the drop down and then click on apply. Google Analytics automatically compares both months and maps out the results in the graph below. You can also find a detailed breakdown of your performance for each indicator we have just covered. For instance, in my case, the number of users coming to my site has jumped by 303% year on year, and the number of page views have gone up by 486%, and my bounce rate has reduced by 27%, which overall means engagement has gone up. The last important indicator I want to cover in the audience report is the devices people use to access your site. To see this, go to the mobile option in the menu under the audience and click on overview. This report will show you if visitors access your site mostly via desktop, tablet or mobiles. Select a wide date range and click on apply. Let's remove the compare to option and increase the date range. You may need to choose the month option to make the graph easier to read. In my case, most of my visitors come from desktop. Actually, 74% of them. Why is this important? Because it will help you build content that is most adapted to the device your visitors use. The last advice I can give you about tracking your visitors is to pay attention to peaks and dips in the number of users and the number of sessions. If you notice anything unusual, you must understand why it is happening so you can learn from it. Now we've explored how our visitors interact with our website, let's look at how they are finding us. Understanding the source of your traffic is another crucial metric you need to keep an eye on. Why? Because over time, you can figure out what channel works best for you and where you should concentrate most of your time. I have already touched on the most important aspect of this in the interface overview, but since this is so important, let me cover this in a little bit more depth. To demonstrate this, I'm going to use one of my clients' accounts. To find out where most of your traffic comes from, in the left-hand side menu, click on Acquisition and then select the Overview option. This report not only gives me the breakdown of where all my visitors are coming from for each channel, which is known as acquisition, but is also split into behavior and goal conversions for each channel separately. Don't worry if you can't see any conversions on your profile yet, as I will show you how to set this up later. So for instance, in this example, 60% of visitors came from an organic source. 68% of them only visited one page and bounced out of the site. And 10.3% of them converted to my goal. However, paid search seems to be converting at a higher rate. So if you want more conversions, which channel should you invest more into? You can see how useful this is when it comes to making marketing decisions. You can gather more information by clicking on the various tabs and the data will update. And if you want to compare two different periods, just use the compare option in the calendar and the data will also update accordingly. Other key metrics you need to pay close attention to are your website pages, more specifically your landing pages. A landing page is the page that a user arrives at after clicking on the link that leads to your website. It can come from social media, a Google result, an email campaign, etc. Why is this important? Because it helps you understand if the content of your landing pages is good enough and matches with what your audience is looking for. To access your landing pages report, go to the menu on the left-hand side and select Behavior. Then choose Site Content and choose Landing Pages. You should now see the landing pages report. The most popular landing page on my site is, unsurprisingly, my homepage with 2,481 visits over the period I have selected. But the third most popular pages is my dog walking business guide page with a bounce rate of almost 90%, which is massive. Clearly, some improvement is needed there, and I'd better make some changes. Let's have a look at another example from another account, this time which runs an AdWords campaign. Still in the landing page report, but this time I want to find out from which source people are landing on which page. To do this, expand the drop down called secondary dimension and start typing source. Then select the source medium option. This will show you the exact source from where visitors land on which page. For instance, most people land on their homepage via organic results, followed by PPC and then direct. If I look at the data from the PPC source, the bounce rate is high, but still reasonable, and it's converting at 14.89%, which is very good. Let's expand the list a little bit so it displays 25 rows. There is a page called rates. Looking at the AdWords traffic that drives visitors to this page shows a bounce rate of almost 81% and only 2 conversions. Since I'm paying Google for this traffic, I think it's a good idea to stop this campaign and save myself some money, as it is not converting visitors into customers. Once again, without looking into the analytics report, it would be difficult to figure this out. The very last metric I want to talk about, which I have mentioned many times already, is conversion. Getting visitors to your site is one thing, but ultimately, you want them to complete an action such as filling in a booking form, asking for a quote, or downloading a coupon, for example. To check your conversion performance, select the conversion option from the left-hand side menu, click on Goals and select Overview. You should see a message telling you you need to set up a goal, and that's what we are going to do in our next chapter. So you really understand how powerful this is. I have set up a specific page on my website that requires visitors to download a 10% discount voucher in order to get a discount on one of my services. My goal is to drive as many people to the page as possible so they can download the voucher by clicking on the Start Download button. And this is what I want to track in Google Analytics, the number of people who have downloaded the voucher. This is my goal. To set this up, go to the admin option in the left-hand side menu. In the view column, select the goal option and then click on the red button that says new goal. Goals are set up in 3 steps. In step 1, you can use a predefined goal, but in our case, we're going to choose the custom option and click on continue. Give your goal a name. I'm going to give mine a meaningful name, and I'm going to call it voucher download, so it is easily identifiable. Once you have chosen the name of your goal, you need to choose how you want your goal to be tracked. There are 4 ways of tracking your goals: destination, duration, pages per session, and event. The destination type will help you track a specific web page. Each time someone goes to that page, it will trigger the goal. This type is perfect if you want to track a thank you page or a confirmation page. Visit duration is self-explanatory. You can use this one to measure how many visitors will stay on your site for a time length you would specify. The number of pages per session is also easily understood. You can set a goal to track the number of pages visitors see before they leave your site. Event goal tracking is slightly more complex, as you need to set up the event beforehand. Since this is a guide for beginners, I won't cover this topic in this video. The destination tracking type is the best fit for my goal setting, as it will require visitors to access a confirmation page. Select destination, then click continue. We are now in the last setup phase, goal detail. In the destination section, leave the option as equal to, and in the blank field, enter the web page address that will trigger the goal to show as complete. Since I want to track the number of downloaded vouchers, the URL I need to track is the URL where the voucher appears, and the URL is right there. So I'm just going to copy the URL and paste it in the URL field in my goal. There's something really important you need to remember here. You need to copy only the part of the URL that comes after your domain name. So in this instance, I'm going to remove the domain name from the URL, which is rankingacademy.co.uk. If the address of your page is case sensitive, tick the box next to the field. Ignore the value and the funnel options to keep things simple for now, then click Save. All you now need to do is wait until Google Analytics start collecting data, which you can check in your report. So I've let Google Analytics collect some data over the past 24 hours. It is now time to verify whether or not my goals are working. All you need to do is go into the left-hand side menu and go to the conversion option. Then click on Goals and then click on Overview. You should now see the results of your goal settings. From there, I can see that I had 8 goal completions, which means 8 people downloaded my voucher. And the goal conversion rate is 1.99% or 2%. That means for every 100 visitors, 2 of them will download my voucher. Although this doesn't seem like a great number, a 2% conversion rate is generally quite a good result. Your goal results will be added across all the Google Analytics reports, which will help you understand how well your marketing is working for you. To see how powerful this is, simply go to the acquisition report on the left-hand side and then click on Overview, and straight away you can instantly see which channel is bringing you most of your conversions, which is yet another highly valuable piece of information that will help you make better decisions moving forward. You can toggle through the conversion tabs and switch from conversion rates to conversion volume and also conversion value. We haven't set a conversion value in this example, but feel free to do so when you set up your goal. Sadly, Google Analytics has its limitations and can send you off track because the way it tracks your visitors can somehow be inaccurate. For instance, if you publish a post on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, not only Google may not be able to recognize the traffic as coming from a social channel, but additionally, you wouldn't be able to see in your report which exact posts is generating visitors or conversions. In this example, I have generated 4 voucher downloads from a source called Other. The reason it's called Other is because Google Analytics is unable to identify precisely where the traffic is coming from. This is problematic since you really want to understand what works best. Thankfully, there is a solution, and this is what we are going to look at in the next chapter. Tracking your campaigns is vital if you want to truly understand if your marketing efforts are paying off. If you post regularly on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or any other platforms in the hope that people will visit your website by clicking on the link, you need to add a special tracking code to the links so it is easily identified in Google Analytics. This will, for example, enable you to really see what type of post brings the most traffic, the most conversions, etc. So you can do more of the same. You can apply this method to any link that sends traffic to your site, such as emails, your Google My Business profile, and anywhere you wish to promote your business. The good news is you don't have to do anything fancy to add this tracking code to your links, since Google has developed a tool called URL Builder specifically designed for this purpose. Go to Google and search for Campaign URL Builder and click on the first result. Alternatively, go to the URL displayed on the screen. Once on the page, you should see multiple fields you need to fill in to start creating your code. So you understand exactly how this works. Let's use a specific scenario and imagine I want to promote my 10% downloadable voucher via a post on Facebook, a post on Google My Business profile, and through a newsletter to my existing customers. In the website URL field, enter the address where you want people to land. In this case, it will be the page I have called Voucher Download. So just grab the URL, copy, and paste it in the website URL field. The next field is the campaign source. This is where you specify where the click is coming from. I'll start with the Facebook instance and simply gonna enter Facebook in the field. The next field is the campaign medium. This is the type of link that was clicked. So here I'm gonna use social since Facebook is a social network. The next field, called campaign name, speaks for itself. Define a name for your campaign. I am going to call mine 10% voucher. There are another two fields you can use. This is if you decide to do pay-per-click campaign. The first one, called term, is where you would enter the keyword you are targeting. The second one is campaign content, which would be for the version of the ad that was clicked on. We don't need these in our example, so we can leave them blank. Once you've filled all the fields, scroll down where you will see a white box which has created a specific URL which includes all the parameters that you've specified. This will allow you to track precisely in your Google Analytics account where the traffic is coming from. All you need to do now is copy the URL and paste it in the appropriate campaign. So let's have a look and do it in the Facebook campaign we're going to create. I'm just going to go to my Facebook business page and create a post which will promote my 10% voucher discount. Just create a post as you normally would and add the link that we've copied from the URL campaign builder into the post as a call to action. All you now need to do is publish your post and verify that the link works properly. Repeat the same process to create specific links for each platform where you will be posting your promotion. I have created a specific one for the Google My Business post as well as my newsletter. Like the goals, you will have to wait for about 24 hours before Google can start collecting data and report into your Google Analytics profile to see the results. So it's been a couple of days since I published my promotion on my various platforms. Let's now look at the results. To check your campaign performance, go to the acquisition report, then select the campaign option and click on all campaigns. This is where you'll see the performance of all your campaigns. Remember, I called my campaign 10% voucher, which you can see listed right there. At a glance, I can see that 13 people visited my voucher download page, which is the page we used as a target, and 6 of these users have downloaded the voucher, which is a 46.15% conversion rate. Although the numbers are very low, since this is just a test for the sake of the video, I would say it is a successful campaign purely based on the conversion rate result. But here is where the magic happens. If you click on the campaign itself, you will see the result broken down for each channel. Now I can see exactly where the traffic really came from. And although Facebook seems to have driven more visitors, most people who downloaded the voucher came from the Google My Business post. Why is this useful? Because I know now that visitors seem to respond a lot better to a Google My Business post rather than any other channel, and I would think twice about investing money in a paid campaign on Facebook, for example. This is obviously an hypothetical scenario and you will have to figure out for yourself what works best for your own business. You are now able to clearly identify where your visitors are coming from what type of campaign, and what triggers conversions, which gives you detailed insight and where it's best to invest your time and money. Understanding what makes a successful or unsuccessful campaign will help you optimize your strategy moving forward. But Google Analytics is also a very useful tool to help you drive more traffic to your website. And this is what I'm going to talk about in our very last chapter. I've already covered some of this in our previous chapter, but looking at your campaign results will help you immensely to target the right channel and drive more traffic to your site. But here is another 4 tips for you to consider. Find your best pages and create more of the same. To do that, just go to the behavior report and select site content and all pages. Select a wide date range from the top right hand side corner and click on apply. This will show you your top pages by number of views. However, We want the pages that people find the most interesting. Click on the comparison option on the bottom right hand side, and then from the drop down, select average time on page. The pages with the biggest green bar are the pages that users are spending the most time on or find the most interesting. Identify what these pages are about, which topic, and create more pages around the same theme. This should yield more traffic. And now for tip number 2, improve your organic traffic with page titles. Once again, let's go into the behavior report, select site content, but this time we're going to choose landing pages. Keep a broad date range. Right above the graph, click on the add segment option. Untick the all users box, scroll down and select the organic traffic option and click on apply. Your report is now showing you all the pages visitors have landed on after finding your site in a search engine. Go to the secondary dimension option and type page title. Select the option. Once your report updates, you can see what keywords your pages are optimized for based on the page title. This way, you can identify pages that are poorly optimized or optimize existing ones further, so you can get more traffic through search engines. Tip number 3, lower your bounce rate. Just in case you've already forgotten, bounce rate is the percentage of visitors to a particular website who navigate away from the site after viewing only one page. A rising bounce rate is a pure sign that the page a user lands on is boring or off-putting, and users don't want to explore any other pages. According to a study conducted by the very reputable Brian Dean from Backlinko, low bounce rate is associated with higher Google rankings. However, a low bounce rate alone is not going to give you better rankings, but it will impact a lot of other signals that will give you better rankings and therefore more traffic. That's why it's important to reduce your bounce rate. To find out where it is, go to the audience reports, then overview, where you'll see the average bounce rate. Since this is an average for your site, it doesn't tell you very much. What we want is to find out the bounce rate for specific pages. Go to the behavior reports again, then choose a site content and then all pages. This is where you will find pages that have received the most page views. Order the list by the highest bounce rate. The ordering will be based on the highest bounce rate, regardless of the amount of visitors who have viewed the pages. We want to ignore the pages with next to no traffic and really zoom in on the ones that have at least a minimum amount of traffic. To do this, select the advanced option and search for site usage. Then scroll down and click on page views. Select the greater than option and then choose the minimum amount of page views you want to filter. Let's say here we go for at least 50 page views. Then click apply. This will give you the list of pages which have the highest bounce rate and have received at least 50 visitors within the date range you have selected. This is now an opportunity for you to look at the content that needs to be improved, so the bounce rate is not so high. Here is my fourth and final tip. Check that your pages are working for your business on mobile devices. Over the past couple of years, website traffic on mobile devices has overtaken desktop traffic. That's why it is very important to understand if your web pages are working for your business on mobile devices. To do this, go to the audience report, then scroll down to the mobile option and click on overview. This report will show you the traffic you are getting per device type. As you can see, there is very little difference between desktop and mobile traffic. Add the number of visitors using a tablet to the number of mobile users, and then desktop is no longer the main driver of traffic. In order to see if your pages are working on mobile, check the bounce rate per device percentages. If your bounce rate for mobile is higher, it means your pages are less effective on mobile. A higher bounce rate on mobile is generally expected, but what you want to understand is which page exactly are not working well. To do this, go to the secondary dimension and start typing page. Then select landing page. This will add the performance for each page per device separately. Order the report per landing page so you can compare pages side by side. You can now compare the bounce rate per page for each device. If you notice a big difference between devices, it means you should reconsider the way your page is being presented to the users in that specific device. Improving it will increase engagement on your site and consequently your traffic. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, my customized Google Analytics dashboard specifically designed for small business owners. On this dashboard you will find most of the metrics we discussed, so it makes it easy for you to track what's happening on your site in less than a minute a day. Each widget on the dashboard has been given a specific name, so it is simple for you to understand what the data means. Click on the link in the description below to download the dashboard directly into your Google Analytics profile. We're done for today. Thanks very much for watching. If you found this tutorial useful, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell button. For any comments or questions, post them right below the video and I will respond to them. Hope to see you soon. Happy marketing.